The next generation smart ring from Circular. Welcome back to Techstsination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us from Circular XYZ is CEO and co-founder Amaury Kosman. Hi, Amaury.
Hello, friend.
Great to see you. Now, you have unveiled your latest technology, the Circular Ring 2 at CES. We'll get to all that is new in just a moment. Let's give everyone first a little bit of background about the company and the work that you've been doing.
Sure. We've started Circular in 2019. We've launched two previous versions before this one, under the same name. One in 2022, one in 2023. We've always wanted to focus on giving back to users very personal recommendations, and so it was always the idea of tracking a lot of data, but not making it complicated for the end user. But also, while doing that, focusing on something you can really wear all the time so that you can get the most out of your tracker. And so that's what we tried to do with our previous versions. We've launched rings that were very light, very thin, very easy to wear, and that you could just forget about. And also, we always wanted to pack them with more features than what the market currently offers. And so, as I'm going to be talking about, it's also the case with this new ring.
So here we are with the Circular Ring Gen 2. You're going to give your customers even more data, as you kind of hinted there. Tell us about it.
Exactly. The focus on this new ring is taking all the experience we've had from our previous versions and really bundle it together in this new version, work what didn't work in the previous ones, but also add two major points of focus. Number one is aesthetics. We wanted something that also really is pretty to wear, not just a technology gadget. The second thing is accuracy. I believe that because there are more and more players coming into our market, a good way to differentiate is being able to have a device people actually trust and so that they trust the data. And one key difference is a new sensor, which is an ECG, an electrocardiogram. So the Circular 2 is the first and only smart ring in the world to integrate an ECG, which is really the medical standard to get your heart rate data because it looks at your electrical activity for your heart. So that's the big new thing, and I can talk about it more in depth if you'd like to.
Sure, because I guess to a lot of us, it's fascinating that you can do that with a ring because usually we're getting stamped all over our chests with sensors and such, and the doctor to be able to do this kind of thing. So tell us how you do it.
Exactly. So this would typically replace an ECG, where, as you said, you need to have a couple of electrodes on your body so that you get the measurements. And just a quick detour, most smart rings, and we also have this, all smart rings actually use PPG, so light emission into your skin so that they get the resistance of your blood to get heart rate and other measurements. ECG really looks at your heart's electrical activity. And the way we do it is very similar to what some watches already do. So for example, on this watch, you just have to touch on the sensor on the side and have the measurement done for 30 seconds. For us, it's going to be very similar. You just need to touch the ring itself so that we can get the activity of your heart, and you need to hold this position for 30 seconds. And then we give you a report of, well, several things. But the first feature we're launching with is arrhythmia detection. So we can detect any types of arrhythmias, so irregular heartbeats, such as AFib, of course, but also tachycardia, bradycardia, and some others.
Really terrific. And another thing that you've worked on is battery life, which is all important, I guess, for people because we have so many things to keep charged these days.
Absolutely. So our previous model, we've always differentiated two different modes. So one is called Echo, one is called Performance. This is very specific to our brand, but as a user, you can choose one or the other. And depending on what you choose, either you get more data, but the battery life lasts a bit less longer, or the contrary, you get less data, but it lasts longer. Before, with our previous versions, Echo would last up to 4 days and Performance 2 days. With this new model, we've doubled these numbers, mostly thanks to developments in our space and in the batteries. But we can actually do Performance up to 4 days and Echo up to 8 days.
Pretty impressive. Tell us about the digital ring sizing that you've developed because that's pretty interesting too.
The digital ring sizing is something that we do for which actually improves the experience for about everybody, the customer and us as a brand. For the customer, he doesn't have to wait for a couple days to get a sizing kit shipped to him, decide on the ring size, and then get the real ring sent to him, which all in all takes about 14 days. And then, of course, it's environmentally friendly not to be able to send all of these different kits. It's also a price for the customer. We used to make them pay $5 for that. And so this time around, what we did with this new version and for all next versions will be the same. So when, as a customer, you will want to order a ring, you'll click on this button on the website saying you don't know your size, get your size now. It's going to open a pop-up on your phone. Just need to take a picture of your fingers with a reference for it, and you'll be able to determine which circle ring sizes go with each one of your fingers so that you can order the ring directly with the right size. And it's pretty accurate, so there shouldn't be a lot of deviance from your real size, but in any case, if you have an issue, you have 14 days to return the ring.
Of course, AI is everywhere at CES and everywhere else too. So, how are you making use of the technology?
The big error where we can, as a smart ring manufacturer, make a change with AI is in the recommendations. So it's how to be able to crunch every number, everything we track with the ring, and deliver a very personal recommendation to you, which is something that will not be delivered to anybody else but you because it's based on your own data. We've been doing this for the past 2, 3 years now. So we have this companion called Kira inside of the Circular app. You can just ask her to generate a recommendations based on your data, and every day you would have a new recommendation. So it can be things as simple as how much time you need to sleep, to what time you need to go to sleep, to soon also predicting women's health and different and your menstrual cycles and fertility windows. So it really depends. We've been working with this with AI for the past 2 years, but we've been also revamping it a little bit so that it takes in new data into consideration. So for each new features that we launch, for example, arrhythmia detection, it is going to feed the AI even more information about you so it can make more informed decisions about what to deliver as a recommendation.
Interesting. You're a co-founder here. So, tell us what the story is, what the impetus was to starting this company.
So really from the get-go, it was the idea of delivering. It's actually very correlated to AI when we started. The entire idea was to deliver recommendations to people because we would be using a lot of different wearable devices ourselves, not naming them, but a lot of bracelets and watches, and at the time, not a lot of rings. And we knew and we saw, based on experience, that they would deliver very raw metrics to you as a user, which is very hard to understand if you're not specialized into biohacking or personal health. And we always thought that something needed to be done so that we can open this world to a larger population of people that are not necessarily interested in this because they think it's complicated to understand it. And so our goal from the get-go was to be able to deliver these personal recommendations, and this Cure or AI is a step towards that. But then the ring idea came along and made sense for us to do it because we can get more data from people wearing rings because they wear it all the time. So both things work very well together. More data from the form factor and more insights and actually useful data from the AI.
And were you more personally into the fitness aspect or into the tech aspects, or what really attracted you to it?
I was mostly into the fitness aspect of it. So it's actually very related to what we do now. I used to track everything from my steps when I went to for a run, my distance, my pace, etc. But it remained very simplistic. As I was saying, there are a lot of raw metrics, and I felt we could do more with that. And the first step was with Circular to get, of course, all of this wellness data up to date and up and running, but also add in more medical features like we're launching now. Because to me, what's interesting is not just doing uh, very basic tracking or even more advanced tracking, it's also prevention on the medical side and having real positive impacts on the world and being able to say we've prevented a chronic illness from happening because we did this type of detection with the ring. So it's really replacing non-invasive, costly equipment that you would be able to get access to at a doctor's with something that you just buy once and you can get unlimited measurements of whatever you're tracking straight off your finger. So it's a bit of all of that.
Great. Well, tell us about availability and pricing.
It's going to be available starting the beginning of March. We're launching a Kickstarter campaign for this new version because we're coming back to the platform as we already did a campaign back in 2020. So it's going to be a very discounted price at the beginning of March, a bit more than $200. And then retail prices after that will be between 349 and $549.
Terrific. And this market, and you want to comment on the types of people who are attracted to buying the smart rings today?
Sure. Well, smart rings today all very have a very similar target, which is mostly focused on fitness and recovery and performance. As we're also doing all this wellness, but going also towards the medical side of things. And because we're also revamping the brand to make it a bit more luxurious and the new product is actually really well crafted. It's more noble materials. It's a bit more good looking and aesthetic. All that together makes our target now move more towards either senior people, which weren't integrated in our previous target because they're interested in their health and especially heart health, but also people that really are looking for a good looking product, not just a tech gadget. And this is really what we wanted to combine our old focus, fitness gadget, and this new focus of luxury and health. And we're combining all of it together.
Where's the best place for people to go for more info?
They can get to our website. It's www.circular.xyz.
Circular.xyz. Amaury Kosman,
Correct.
thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.